Welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Hey, can you dig it? Yeah, he can dig it. Can you dig it? Alright, check it out. Today, we're going to be working on a 2006 Chrysler 300. We're going to be changing the water outlet housing. Some people call it the bleed housing, water bleed housing or something like that. Here's the part right here. It's a dormant product. And let's check out what's in the box. Say good morning. Say good morning, Boo. See, Boo said good morning. Alright, these housings have a tendency to leak. And it's got a little O-ring there, so we're going to be changing it. Now, I need you to pay close attention to this video. Because you know, a lot of you guys can get, and girls can get ripped off out there from these repair shops, because the labor, if you look in the labor guide, it shows very high, and they will charge you that. And when we get to the customer's house, we're going to pull up the labor right in front of you and right in front of the customer and show them, and you know, we're charging the customer a lot less because it just ain't right. Alright, so let's get in the truck and head on to the customer's house. We'll be right back. Alright, truck kind of loud. Here we go. Alright, this is the street. We got to make a right turn here. And okay, it should be coming up on the right somewhere. There it is. Chrysler 300. Alright, I'm gonna get out here, talk to the customer, and the next part of this video, I really need you to pay attention to, okay? Especially if you usually take your car to a shop. You know, just really believe me, pay attention to the next part of this video. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Alright, here we are. There's the 300 right over there. And let me walk over here. And there's the piece we're changing. Alright, now what we're going to do, we're over here with the customer. Now, if the customer went to a shop, this is what the shop's going to do. Now, check out a video I did last night of this program we use, Auto Labor Expert. Very good program for checking out prices. So, I don't know if there's a glare on the screen or not. Hopefully you can see it. We're going to go down to a 2006 Chrysler 300, and this is the 2.7. Now we're going to hit continue. Now we had select a category. Now what we're going to be looking for is the cooling system. Where we at here? There it is. Cooling system and belts. And we're going to go down to thermostat, water pump. Now what we're going to be changing, let's see, is right here. The R&R air bleed housing assembly, because this assembly has the has a bleed valve on the top. So that's the one we're going to be changing. So let's go up to that. Now as you can see here, going to a shop, he's going to be charged the low $198, or depending on the shop and how they feel about the customer, they can actually charge him $222. The customer doesn't see this information, just the shop does. So you know, we're not going to charge any of that because we're used to it. They're very good customers, so we're going below that. This will give you an idea. You got to, you know, don't let shops rip you off. Get this program so you know you can know how long it's going to take to do a job, and what they should be charging you. Only thing you have to know is what their labor rate is. And it's kind of sad, but a lot of these places are charging $90 and $100 an hour. All right, that's that. Let's go over here and start draining this antifreeze a little bit out. We'll be right back. Okay, the first thing I need you to do on this car is to get you a drain pan, antifreeze, and set it up under there just like that. Because what you got to do is you got to drain enough antifreeze to get below this level so we can replace this. And once you get it down there, you look way down there. Let's see if I get my light. There's a drain plug right. Trying to get you so you can see it. This is right there, right where I got the light at. See that? So what I'm gonna do is take a pair of pliers or something and just turn that counterclockwise to get some let the antifreeze start coming out. Alright, let me get a smaller pair of pliers and loosen that up a little bit. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, what I got is a little bitty pair of needle nose, because that thing is not really tight. So I'm gonna get down there and grab it from the side, twist that, and there we go. Definitely want to get something small, or something big just ain't gonna fit down there. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's go up under here and make sure it's coming out. Okay, let's see down here. Yeah, there it is. Alright. Let's see inside there. Let me try to bend it down a little bit. Alright, we're starting to drain out, which is good. Now, what we need here to do this job, I'm going to set the camera up. Now, if you notice, this one has a bleed valve on it, but now we're going to have two bleed valves. The model that we got with the bleed screw on it, it supersedes this one. So remember that the new one that you get will have a bleed valve on it. All right, what we're going to need here is 8mm or 5/16 socket, and that's going to be for the top bolts, the 4 top bolts. And then you're going to get you a 7mm. I got a 7mm deep. That one is kind of going to be difficult to get to, so what we might do is pop those up first, so get that moved out the way a little bit, and then do it. Those are 7mm bolts. All right, so that's draining. Let me set the camera up right here. Now the thing is, you guys need to understand this. And I've always told you, you got to think outside the box. The labor guide calls for $198. They expect you to remove the whole piping assembly and everything and pull from out and actually take the radiator out and all. But you know, everybody got their way of doing things. Some shop might do that. Others, we know the quick ways. We know the ways of doing this, and you know, it's a lot easier. So let me see. I get my 6-inch extension, stubby ratchet, 3/8 draft ratchet, 8mm deep socket. I'm gonna pop those 4 bolts off. Now remember to give your antifreeze time to drain down so you don't get a lot of spill up here. Alright, we got our 4 bolts off. Now pay attention that, let's back this up a little bit. 2 bolts are long and 2 bolts are short. You can't mix them up, so don't even worry about that. Alright, so let's pick this housing up just a little bit. just to get it free. See that? Just enough. And you can slide it towards the front of the car a little bit. The reason why is because at the end of this pipe is hooked up to a heater hose going to the heater core. So you got enough room to pull back, just like that. And now you can get to that 7mm bolt on the pipe. Just like this. If you drop one of these 7mm bolts, it don't matter because the new housing comes with new bolts and a new O-ring, which I'm about to show you. Okay, we got our two 7mm bolts out, and let's get ready to pull that apart. All right, we're taking a little intermission here. Yo, this is why I get so upset when somebody criticizes my work, because everybody don't follow that same path. One mechanic has one way of doing something, the other one has another. If you go to the shop, they're going to charge you $200 or more for this job. But mechanics that think outside the box, we know quick ways of doing it, get it done quicker, better, cost the customer a lot less money. So, you know, that's all it is, thinking out of the box. Most of the special tools that we have is somebody who thought, hey, you know what, instead of doing it this way, how about if I made a tool to do it this way? You always got to think out of the box. If you don't think out of the box, you ain't a good mechanic. Simple as that. You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to improvise on things. I've seen people use a belt, a regular belt. If their car gets stuck, they use a regular belt to keep the car going, whatever it takes. All right, let's get back to the job. You're gonna get you a little piece of sandpaper if you don't have air tools or way of doing this. It's a surface grinder with little discs on it. And we're gonna clean the surface of the intake when we pop this off. Alright, so let's try to get this thing out of here without messing it up. Alright, there's our housing right there. Now what we're going to do here, we took our 7mm bolts out, and this thing it's going to take a little moving, it should pop off of there. You might have to get a pry bar or something to, there we go, work itself out. And there's it. And actually you can see the stain right there where this thing, you know, it's made out of plastic, which sucks. You can see the stains where it was leaking at. So we're going to pop that off. And let's get a close-up of where we're at here. And you see all the stains right there. We're going to clean that off. Now there's an O-ring right on this pipe right here. Let's get something to pull that O-ring off, okay? I'll be right back. Alright, what you want to do is get you a scriber or a pick or a small screwdriver. And you see the O-ring right there? So you're just going to pry it in there and pop that O-ring right off, just like that. Okay, now let's set this to the side and hook up the air for our tool. Now remember, this is intake. This intake is aluminum, so you don't want to grind too much or you will mess it up. Just lightly cover it, you know. And to be on the safe side, just use like a wire brush, sandpaper, about 320 grit, and just clean that up. All right, let's get that hooked up. Okay, let's go over there and clean that up. But I will. Okay, it's cleaned up. Now what we're going to do is get you some carburetor cleaner with a clean rag, and we're going to clean the rest of that up. Alright, here we go. Got us a can of gunk carburetor and parts cleaner. And what we're going to do over here is just spray the rag. Really saturate it, and then wipe off around where that housing is going to go. And at the same time, I'm going to clean up the pipe for the new O-ring. Now, you want to make sure, you can see I got this all cleaned up. Get around here. Now you want to make sure that you got inside the groove right here. Make sure you got that nice and clean, or it will leak. Alright, so now that we got that cleaned up, and again, here's our old one, and you can see the stains on it where it was leaking at. So wow, yeah, let's go get our new one. Okay, here we got the new one, and as you can see, the new one has a bleed screw on top. These are the updated models. The old ones will have nothing on it, just like this. So if they sell you this, they're selling you an old one. Tell me you want the new one with the bleed on top. And you can see we got a new O-ring in here. There's new gaskets already set up. And this is where our pipe is going to go in. So the first thing we're going to do here, I should have got some. Now you notice it's got two new screws. It's got new screws on it, just like I said. It's got new screws, so you didn't have to worry about dropping your old one. The first thing we're going to do is take our new O-ring, and you're going to put it on that pipe, just like that. And now, which I should have got, but I don't know what the heck, why didn't I get it when I was there? What you're going to get now is get a little white lithium grease, and you want to put it inside the housing right around so the O-ring don't get tangled up and squeeze together, pinch, and cause a leak. So we're going to get a little white lithium grease to put inside there. Okay, if you haven't already, get you a tube of liquid wrench white lithium grease. It don't have to be liquid wrench. It can be any kind of lithium grease. And what we're going to do here is, we got our housing. Don't put none here where the gaskets are. Right where the pipe goes through. It's going to take a little bit, and you're going to put it around the edges, just like that. Close our lithium up. Next we're going to do is put it on the pipe. So let's go over here. And put it on the pipe. Just going to twist it a little bit and put pressure, and it'll pop right on. While you got it like that, and you know, I just kind of messed up here. Let me back this back off. Remember to take your 7mm bolts off of here before you do it. Alright, now put it back on. Let's get our 7mm bolts started in there. Then we're going to go ahead and tighten them up. Do not over tighten them. It's going into plastic and you will break them. The plastic. So when it goes in and it stops, just a little bit more, and that's it. There's no pressure pushing out on these, so it's good. Next you want to do, take your 2 longest bolts, push back on the housing carefully until you can see the bolts holes lining up. Start them by hand. Now for the back 2. Get your 8mm deep socket with the 6-inch extension. You're going to tighten these up. Try to bring them down evenly, because if not, you will crack the gasket or you will crack the housing. Okay, the next thing you want to do is close off the radiator. I already did that. Pull your drain pan from under there. Now if you notice, this is a red antifreeze, so you want to make sure that the antifreeze that you mix in here can be mixed with all colors. If not, this whole system is going to turn to a gel. You're gonna mess this whole cooling system up on this car. And this is a good time to check the strength of the antifreeze. Let me show you how to do that. Be right back. All right, what we have here, because the antifreeze look like a little red and then it's a little light. What we have here is a antifreeze hydrometer. What this is going to tell me, just by putting some fluid, and the thing costs like 10 bucks at your local auto parts store. I'm gonna fill the antifreeze up to this line, and then there's a dial inside here. This dial is going to let me know at what point will this antifreeze freeze up. And you know, that's good to know, especially with wintertime is right around the corner. And it'll let me know at what point will it start to boil. All right, so what we're gonna do is go over here to the bucket of antifreeze. And we're gonna squeeze the red bubble up here. Stick the tube in, let it suck in the antifreeze, and then we read it. So it says, get a look at that, it's about at -20, almost -20, about, I say about 15 below, which is good. So that means it's gonna, if this temperature ever gets more than 15 below zero, this engine is gonna freeze up. But here in North Carolina, it hardly ever gets that cold. So we're good to go with this. That's good. You know, even though see, you can't take looks for granted, because even though it looks from in there, it looks like a lot of water, but it's not. So we're good to go. But we do have extra antifreeze just in case. Now, the next thing you want to do, you got two. Now that you got the new housing up here, you're gonna have 2 bleeder screws. You can open up both, or you can open up one. That one's already closed. I'm gonna keep that closed, and what I'm gonna do is open up that one right there. And let's see what size this is. Looks like a 3/8. So let me go get a 3/8 wrench, and we're gonna open that up, and then open this up, and we're gonna start pouring the antifreeze in there. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we got our 3/8 wrench and this little special tool. So what we're gonna do is open this bleeder up just like that. Make sure that one's closed, and then we're gonna go over here to where the antifreeze, where we fill it up at. And I like this little special tool. Instead of making a mess and try to pour it right into there, antifreeze spilling everywhere, we got this little special tool for like $20. I got it now, it's like $29. It's got different adapters for different radiators and expansion tanks. So I'm gonna take the adapter, put it in there, put the fitting on top, close it off, then put the tub right on top. Now I can pour it into there and I'm not making a mess everywhere. So let's pour the antifreeze back inside, and what we're going to do is keep pouring it in until we see bubbles and a consistent flow of antifreeze coming out that bleed valve. So let's pour this in there. Now I know I can pretty much pour all of this in there because the system was probably a little low already. Alright, now, as you can see, I just poured all the antifreeze that came out of here. My bucket is still empty. And I got no antifreeze coming out of here. So now let's go get some more antifreeze and top this system off. Alright, we got some AutoZone extended life 50-50 antifreeze. You definitely want to get 50-50. You don't want to get full strength or it'll eat at the heater core and the radiator. And you always want to, now whether you get AutoZone or any other name brand, you want to make sure, see right here, mixes with any color antifreeze. You definitely want to make sure it says that, or you're going to run the risk of damaging your system. So let's pop this off. And we're going to pour it into that yellow bucket until we see antifreeze start coming out the bleed screw. Wow, it's taking a lot. Let me go get some more antifreeze and pour the rest of this here. Okay, let me go get some more antifreeze. Be right back. I'm like, I didn't want to bore you, so I was pouring some in there before I started recording. Now let me find that. There we go. Now, as I'm pouring the antifreeze in, I want you to watch that bleed valve. See the bubbles coming out of there? Now I want to keep going until I get a nice pretty stream. There we go. And then we'll close that off by hand. I'm going to take my 3/8 wrench and just tighten that up. Not super tight. Just have to guess. I'd say about 15 pounds. 15 inch-pounds actually, because that's really light. All right, now we're done with this. Now, as you can see over here, I don't have no mess, no antifreeze leaking everywhere. And that's all I have to do is just pop the top off, take my fittings out, make sure the antifreeze level is good, put the cap on, good to go. Get a rag, you know, as I spill a little bit up here. And that's that. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, there you go. That's how you change the air bleed housing on these cars. You know, just like I'm saying, the label guide calls for one thing, and technically by law, the shop can charge you, you know, what it calls for. As you can see, the problem is a lot of times they get these parts, you get them from the dealership, and it'll come with that pipe, and you gotta change the whole thing. That's not even necessarily true, because that's all you do is unbolt the 7mm bolts, pull that pipe out, and just use the housing itself. You know, I do this because, as I said, you gotta think outside the box. If you want to be a good technician or mechanic, you gotta think outside the box. You can't think along a straight line. Mechanics ain't like that. Alright? You know, I mean, if any of you worked on cars before, you know sometimes you gotta do something other than what's called for to get something fixed. Alright. This is Timmy from Astral Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can.